you might want to like grab some tea or like some snacks, because I really don't know how long this video is going to be. I don't have like a script or anything. I'm just kind of just saying what comes to mind. So never thought I'd be filming this video, but here we are. I feel like every time I go on like a long hiatus and then come back to my channel, I always come back with something that something traumatic that has happened, like some sort of traumatic event. So my apologies, but life has been beating my ass, okay? She got hands, okay? Life got hands, and like I was not prepared. But yeah, so by the title of this video, as I'm sure if you've clicked on this video, then I would hope read the title. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. I don't even really know where to start. Should I start from the beginning, like my childhood, or I don't know. Well, let's just, you know, get to why we're here. So I was going to unalive myself about 2 weeks ago. But just, I guess, to kind of give you a little bit of backstory, for those of you who are subscribed to my sorry, that was rude. It's telling me it's time to eat a snack. I'll do that later after I'm done with this video. But for those of you who have been subscribed to my channel and just, you know, have a personal relationship or friendship with me, then you know that I got into a relationship, my first real relationship as a grown-up, as an adult, and just as quickly as it started, it ended just as fast. And it was pretty, excuse my language, fucking traumatic. I was very shocked when it happened. Yeah, like I felt sideswiped, like just caught off guard, like it's like a deer in headlights, like what the you know? It felt like a situation where like you're about to cross the street, right? You look both ways. You don't see a car coming, like the road is clear. So you're like, okay, I look both ways, you know, so I can cross. No one's coming. And as you cross the street, you get hit by like a semi, a fucking Mack truck. Like, yeah, that's how it felt. And I won't get into like why, you know, the breakup happened and the relationship ended, you know. That's kind of not really the point of this video, and I just don't want to spend too much time talking about that. And I also don't want, you know, you guys to think that this person that I was with caused me to want to, you know, unalive myself. Were they a catalyst? Absolutely. But you know, my mental health, depression, and suicidal ideation has been something that I have battled and struggled with since I was like a preteen. So, you know, if it wasn't this relationship with this person, it probably would have been a relationship with someone else. You know, they just happened to be, this relationship just kind of happened to be the thing that really just sent me finally, like finished me off finally, I guess. But you know, in no way, shape, or form am I blaming this person. You know, nobody, no person is, you know, responsible for someone wanting to take their own life. At the end of the day, that is that person's choice. And you know, I never want to be a person who like blames, like, oh, you made them ill themselves. You know, like, so I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there, you know, that I'm not blaming that person for what I was going to do. But yeah, so I was in the psych ward for 3 days. Yeah, 4 days, 3 nights I was there. I admitted myself just because after, like, when the breakup happened, it was just like, I've gotten my heart broken before, plenty of times, too many times to count. And it's like, I kind of saw them all coming, just because, like, I know myself, and, you know, due to my own, like, childhood trauma and, you know, things that I experienced growing up, it definitely shaped how I not only view myself, but, you know, how the decisions I made and the people who I chose, or, you know, the type of men specifically that I was attracted to. And those type of men were typically very, almost always, you know, with like 2 exceptions, you know, one being my most recent relationship and another one being like one I had in high school. Minus those 2 people, pretty much every guy that I've ever been like attracted to was like emotionally available, narcissistic, and emotionally abusive sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. And you know, had a attachment style that was more, if you're familiar with like attachment styles, you know, the type of men that I was attracted to were very dismissive. Again, aside from the 2 exceptions, every other guy that I've ever been attracted to was always emotionally unavailable and was very dismissive and a bit narcissistic, which honestly I think most or all men are like kind of socialized to be narcissistic, but that's another video for another day. But all men are not narcissists, I know that, but they are, I feel like a lot of them are socialized to be, and most people who are narcissists are men. Obviously there are women who are narcissists, but studies will show you that most people who are narcissists are men. You can look it up. I promise you, I'm not just pulling this out of my asshole. Anyways, but yeah, so those were the type of men that I was attracted to. And I'm sure I don't have to explain to you why. Again, it had a lot to do almost everything to do with my childhood and things that I experienced growing up as a, you know, in those crucial like developmental years and like well into my like adulthood. And, you know, I don't think a lot of people realize how, you know, your childhood upbringing can and does shape your like adult relationships. Like it absolutely, the two go hand in hand. So I had a pattern, and like I would say end of 2021, or no, like not even end of 2021, but like kind of end of 2021 and like 2022 is when I finally was like, okay, like, yes, these men are assholes, but I keep choosing them. So like, I am not helpless in the situation. I can decide to not ignore these red flags when I see them. And so, you know, I'd say like June, I think end of June, or no, it was like end of July. I had finally like walked away from a like 4.5-year situationship. That's what it was. It was some bullshit. A situation shit. That's what it was. I had finally like built up the courage to like burn that bridge and walk away from that for good. And you know, that was very hard for me to do. Like it took a lot for me to even like do that. And shout out to my sister Lonnie for helping me cuss that muck out. Shout out to her. Wouldn't have been able to do it without her help. Cause she knew I probably would have been too nice. But yeah, if you watch this video, like, shout out to you, love you. But yeah, you know, I finally walked away from a situation that, you know, I was in for 4.5 years, you know, since I was like 24. I'm 29 now, about to be 30. And yeah, like I was dealing with this person, knowing deep down that it wasn't gonna go anywhere that I wanted it to go. It was gonna stay exactly the way it was. And, you know, I could choose to stay and deal with that and, you know, starve myself of the type of love that I really wanted and deserved. Or I could be like, you know what? I may want this person, but this person does not want me. Not in the way that I want them. And I can stay here and choose to be delusional, or not even be delusional, just, you know, settle for way less than I deserve. Or I can cut my losses, which they're really, I gained more from walking away from that situation than I lost nothing, you know, from walking away from that situation. And it was hard, but I have no regrets about that. And I felt like guilty because, you know, I let him have it. I let him have it. Like, I did not hold back. And at first, like, I felt like, oh my God, like, you know, that was really mean. But then it was like, the longer I sat with myself and really thought about it and just thought about all the things that I had accepted from this person, all the ways in which this person had like disrespected me, and like I allowed it, I was like, no, actually I probably could have been meaner. And like, don't get me wrong, I let him have it, but it's like I didn't say anything that was untrue. And you know, he deserved it. you know, and based off of what he deserved, that and way more. So yeah, that, you know, I walked away from that like July of last year, and didn't look back since. And of course I was sad, you know, because when you get like so used to dealing with the person and then like you're just not dealing with them anymore, it's like, even though like, you know, the person is like not good for you, like you still you know, miss them, as messed up as it is. But I was just like, you know what, in spite of, you know, me missing them, like I know I can't go back, because, you know, I burned that bridge, and I burned it so that I would not be able to go back if I wanted to, because I was like, it's time to be done with this. Like, it's time to be done. And you know, I started just like dating casually, just like seeing what was out there, and, you know, no longer lying to myself, and, you know, saying that I was okay with just like a casual relationship, because like that's not what I was looking for. I was like, no, I'm interested in dating and like, you know, pursuing something serious with somebody. Like, I'm over the casual dating thing. Like, that's just not what that's just not where I'm at right now. And so like, I would always let everybody know up front, you know, whoever I was dating, like, hey, like if that's what you want, that's totally fine, but like that's not what I want, so you're not gonna get it from me. So if that's what you want, like, you might want to like keep it moving and keep on searching elsewhere, and find somebody who's on the same page as you, because that's just not what I'm doing right now. And yeah, so, you know, fast forward to October, I meet end of October, Halloween, I meet the person who I ended up being in a relationship with. It was the healthiest relationship that I've not only ever been in, but like I've ever even seen, you know. I had never experienced anything like that. I'd never seen anything, like I've never seen what I had, I'd never seen it with anybody else. So it was just like, even my mom was like, this is weird, like this is unreal, but it felt right. You know, like immediately when I met this person, I don't want to spend too much time on this relationship because I really just want to get into like the mental health aspect. But I think in order for me to, in order for it to make sense why I ended up where I ended up, I kind of need to get into the relationship just a little bit. But yeah, so it was one of those situations where like I met this person and I just like immediately knew like that's my person. Like, I mean, like from the day that I met this person, I was like, yeah, yeah, that's my person. And like everything just felt so natural, like nothing felt forced. Like it felt like you ever meet somebody and you don't know them, but like you meet them and you feel like you know them. Like they feel very like familiar, very familiar. Like, you know, like it's like, I don't know you, obviously I don't know you because I just met you, but like I know you, I swear to God I know you. Like if it was in a past life or something, like that's how that connection felt for me. You know, I don't know how it felt for that other person. I can't really speak to how they experienced it, but I know how it felt for me. And just, you know, everybody around us like could, you know, they could tell like, you know, this is like, wow, you know, different. And it was a beautiful experience. But yeah, so fast forward to March 8th. We break up and I'm devastated. Like I'm in shock. The breakup, it felt like I had just gotten a call that like a close relative or a close friend had like randomly died. That's how it felt. Like it felt like a death. I mean, essentially it is a death, the death of a relationship. So like, you know, you go into grieving. And just a little bit about myself. Because of my own trauma, and just like how my brain is wired. Well, first let me say, my attachment style is fearful avoidant, or anxious avoidant, or disorganized. If you're familiar with attachment theory, then you know there's like secure, which is what we all want to be, and the type of people that we want to be with are secure, but a lot of us are not. So you have secure, which is the ideal attachment style. Then you have your insecure attachment styles, which are dismissive avoidant, anxious preoccupied, and then fearful avoidant, which is a combination of dismissive avoidant and anxious preoccupied. So I'm like right there in the middle. Fearful avoidant is me, like right smack dab in the middle. And depending on like, you know, the type of person that I end up with, if I end up with somebody who is more of a dismissive, then, you know, the anxious or the fearful part of my attachment style will be more prominent. Versus if I'm with someone who is more anxious than I am, then my dismissive side will be more prominent. So it's like I'm all jacked up in the head. But you know, I'm working on it. But yeah, so damn it, I forgot where was I going with that? Oh, so yeah, and so because of my attachment style and also like, you know, my own childhood trauma, I have a very difficult time dealing with rejection and coping with grief. It's like I can't deal with it at all. And so like I just start to like spiral. And you know, when the breakup happened, you know, my body was in such shock, and like it's not a blur because I remember everything, but I just immediately started to like spiral and like go into fight or flight mode, like panic mode. And I was drinking a lot, like more than usual. You know, I already like, you know, drank, but like I was like drinking. Like I'm talking like I would wake up and have a glass of whiskey. Like what? At 11 a.m.? Girl. Yeah, it was that bad. Like during the day. Now like before when I would drink, I was just more of a social drinker. Like I would drink whenever I would go out with my friends. But like it wasn't an everyday thing. But when that happened, you know, I was using alcohol as a ways to cope. And don't do that. And so yeah, that was going on for a while, and I had started to see a therapist, and I was like, because I was like, no, I need to talk to somebody, like somebody professional. Like, you know, me and my mom have always been super close, and we've grown closer as the years have gone on, but like I knew that I needed like a professional, unbiased opinion, and just, you know, somebody who could really like help me, somebody who is like detached from the situation, who could help me like develop just better strategies and ways to cope with what I was going through. And so I had started seeing a therapist. We had two really amazing sessions. But then something happened where like I couldn't see them anymore. I don't want to get too into like exactly what happened, but basically, like, you know, I found out that I was not going to be able to like see them anymore. And like prior to that, you know, I had already, you know, the suicidal thoughts had already like come back. And they got more and more aggressive each day. But, you know, I was like, you know, it's okay though, I'm going to therapy, so like they're gonna help me figure this out. Well, when I, you know, found out that I could no longer see that particular therapist, it was just like a damn, you too? You abandoning me too? Because that's another thing. Because of my I don't know why I said that twice. I don't know why I said my twice. But because of my fearful, avoidant, or disorganized attachment style, people with my specific attachment style have a core wound or fear of abandonment, and which all plays into like the fear of rejection, and you know, that it all kind of ties into each other. So you know, it felt like I was being abandoned by somebody else, you know, because I felt like, okay, I finally, because I've been to therapy like plenty of times before, but it was never a good fit. And so like, you know, I found this therapist, or this therapist was recommended to me, and I felt like, okay, like, yes, this feels right, you know, but wasn't able to see them as a therapist anymore. It's really, well, I guess I will get into like the reason why. It's just based off of location. So this person is located in another state, and I'm in Texas. I won't say where they're located, and I won't say who they are, just for like privacy reasons, and I want to like respect this person. But yeah, you know, they got with me and was like, you know, I got with my colleagues, and it is you know, it's best if you find a therapist that is in your state. But the good thing is that this person is also a life coach. So, and I will be utilizing their services as a life coach, because like just a spiritual advisor, because I have really been like wanting one of those. And so yeah, but you know, that aside, my initial reaction to knowing that I was not going to be able to see them as a therapist anymore was, you know, me feeling abandoned. I know it's like not really logical, because it's like they're not abandoning you, they're just telling you like, hey, this is why I can't do this. And so when that happened, I think that was really like my breaking point. And my mom and I had like talked about me like going to a hospital before, but I was just really trying to like push through. But like this really, that was the last straw for me. And I was just like, yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it. And I just like remember being on the floor in my living room just like wailing. Like I was in like physical pain. Like I've never cried so much that like I felt it felt like a weight, like a heaviness on my chest. That's like and it wasn't just like crying, like boohoo ugly crying. It was like wailing, like on the floor, just like like everything. It took so much out of me emotionally and physically. And yeah, I woke up the next day and I was like, I text my mom and I was like, I think I need to go to the hospital. Because I knew that if I did not go, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now. My family would be picking out black suits to attend my funeral. I know that's like very morbid, but like, it is what it is. That's the truth. That's the reality of it. And so, yeah, I was like, I didn't want to feel like that. And, you know, this isn't my first, you know, rodeo with like suicidal ideation or even like an attempt. The first time that I like actually attempted it, or the only time I actually attempted it was when I was 19. Funny enough, I had went through a breakup. And yeah. So obviously I'm sure you can see there's a pattern here of like just abandonment issues. Obviously. And yeah. So went to the hospital and told them, you know, because they ask you, okay, like, are you feeling depressed, suicidal? It's like, yeah. And they were like, okay, have you attempted it? And I was like, no, not yet, but I was going to. And I decided to come here instead. And, you know, then they ask you like, you know, had you made any plans? And if so, like, what were you gonna do? And so just actually saying out loud what I had planned to do was so weird, because I had only ever thought about it in my head. I'd never actually verbalized it and said it out loud, and it was like, oh shit, this is real. Like, and so with all that information, they were like, okay, so, you know, we think it's best that you stay here for a couple of days. And the particular psychiatric facility that I went to, they have a you know, 3 to 7 days longer if they feel like, you know, you're still at risk for like either harming yourself or someone else. In my case, it was harming myself. And so I stayed there for three nights, 4 days. Went in on Monday, got out on Thursday morning. So your girl went on a grippy sock vacation. I can joke about it now because, like, you know, I'm doing better. But yeah, so ended up there, and it gave me, you know, an opportunity to just really like think and just reevaluate a lot of things. And you know, the main reason that I'm here and still alive today is because, like, you know, my mom, and how much she loves me and how much I love her, and just like just thinking about like what me not being here would do to her. I was like, I don't even wanna, even though I won't be here to see it, if I do, you know, take my own life, just even the thought of it was just like, I can't do that to her. But like when I was in the hospital, it just really gave me some time to think like, okay, yes, I love my mom, but she can't be the only reason that I choose to live. You know, I need to find reasons to exist that don't revolve around whether another human being is in my life or not. And because like people aren't always going to be here, you know, whether they decide to willingly leave or whether they die, because we're all going to die eventually. You know, you have to, oh my stomach, I need to eat dinner. But you know, it's so important to find reasons to live and exist, not just exist, but to live and have a reason to get up every day that doesn't revolve around another human being or another person, whether or not another person is in your life or not, whether that be your parents, your significant other, or even your children, because obviously we all hope that our children don't go before us, but eventually, like, they're going to grow up and go on their own way. And people, it's important to have your own identity and have things that you're passionate about and have a reason, have that thing that makes you want to get up in the morning every day. It shouldn't be a person, and so, like, right now, what I am what I'm really trying to figure out is what makes India happy, what makes India feel safe, what brings India joy that does not involve whether or not someone is in my life. And thankfully, I was actually able to answer those questions for the most part. And so now it's just a matter of like, okay, so what would it look like if every day I got up and did one thing that brings me joy? And I mean, like, internal joy, a joy that no one can take away, because it's not, dependent on another person. And so for me, I love to create. I feel like I'm pretty good at a lot of things. Not even to toot my own horn. It's just, I love to create things. Whether it's a makeup look on myself or another person. Whether it's me writing a song. Whether it's me recording a song. And then, like, editing it and publishing it to streaming platforms, or whether it's me, like, creating a YouTube video, editing the video, recording the video, editing the video, and then uploading it. Whether it's me, putting together a really cute outfit and taking a picture and then editing the picture and then posting it. Like, I love to create things. I love working out, going to the gym. I've always talked about I've always loved guitar, specifically electric guitar, but I love guitar. I think it's the coolest instrument next to, like, the viola or the cello. I think guitar is just so cool. I just love guitar, like electric guitar riffs, which is probably why my favorite genre of music is like heavy metal. I love guitar. I love guitar so much. Electric guitar, but just guitar, period. And I remember in high school, I was taking guitar lessons for a little bit. And I would always get so excited whenever I would, like, learn something new. But, eventually fell off. But I've always wanted to get back to it. And so, I think about, like, what would it look like if I, if I actually started to practice guitar? Like, had somebody, like, teach me. And then just practice it. Hour or 30 minutes every day. Like, what would that look like 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now? I think about, like, how freaking cool and good would I be at guitar if I would have never stopped when I was in high school. That's like 10 years. I'd be in somebody's rock band by now. So that is something that I want to learn. And also, I know I talked about fitness. I've always been like, I've never been like a sports person. I played sports in high school, but like, you know, I've always wanted to like learn how to like fight, you know. I always talked about wanting to learn like UFC or mixed martial arts, but I've really been like thinking about like boxing. Like, yeah. Just like as an outlet, you know. And so now I'm just kind of like at a place where a lot of things are things that were important to me before are just not now. And so like with that being said, with everything that I've gone through, I don't know if I will continue to do YouTube. Honestly, I don't know. Just because like, yeah, I love fashion and clothes and all that stuff, but like, I don't know, like, that's not really where my like passion lies. And so if I do continue to do YouTube, like I may, you know, I'll still incorporate like fashion here and there, but like that likely won't be the main type of content that I put out. So like if I do decide to continue to do YouTube, I just got to figure out exactly what type of content I want to put out, because like, I don't know, I don't want to just be another fashionista. Like, I'm that already just by existing. Like, not to toot my own horn, but like beat beat, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm just really thinking about like, I want to do things that are like meaningful to me. I don't want to just be remembered for like how cool I dress. Now, I know I will be remembered for that, but I don't want that to be like the only thing that I'm like remembered for. And so, yeah, it's time to pivot. We just got to figure out exactly where we want to go, you know, and how I want to incorporate all the things that I am actually passionate about into, you know, my channel, should I choose to continue posting. So yeah, that's my major life update. And also, I know I always talk about going to New York. That is something that I still want to do, and hopefully it happens sooner rather than later. But you know, we'll see. We'll see. Right now, I'm just in a season of my life where I think it's important for me to just rest and reevaluate, you know, the type of person I want to be, the type of people that I even want in my life, and like where I want my life to go. So that's where I'm at right now. And yeah. So I know this video definitely started off a bit sad, but hey, that's life. Life is sad sometimes, a lot of the times. But sometimes it's also happy. And I'm trying to look forward to the happy. And, you know, I'm just hoping that I'm trying to be optimistic. you know, because I have a tendency to catastrophize and assume the worst, and I'm trying to just really be more intentional about living in the moment, you know, not just like completely disregarding the future and just like, you know, being irresponsible, like, you know, YOLO, tomorrow's never promised, but like just enjoying the moment and, you know, each day just being present. And yeah. So don't know if I will post another video. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, I don't know. But I thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my channel and who has consistently watched my videos. I appreciate all 752 of you. And if I don't post another video, then, you know, I'm grateful for all of you that have viewed the ones that I have posted. And you know, if you are someone who is struggling with your mental health, I know you probably hear this all the time, but you are not alone. Okay, I need to wrap this video up, but yeah, you know, I was saying if you are someone who struggles with mental health, depression, anxiety, you know, suicidal ideation, or even if you have attempted it before or have even thought about it, you're not alone. And just, I know if you're watching this and if you're a person who is going through that right now, it's like, you know, no amount of encouragement really matters. And when you're feeling it in that moment, but please, I beg you to just hang in there, please. And not for anybody else. Like, don't do it for anybody else, do it for yourself. Because you deserve to live a fulfilled and joyous life. You know, you deserve to discover your maximum potential. You know, you deserve to experience that, and you can. You just have to fight for yourself. And it's okay to seek help. It's okay to know that you cannot do it alone, because none of us can. I knew I couldn't do it alone. That's why I admitted myself to the damn psych ward. Because I was like, I can't do this by myself. I'm tired of trying to push through. I'm tired of trying to be strong. You don't have to be strong. It's okay to ask for help. It's important to know when you need help and to not be afraid or ashamed to ask for it. Because especially as a Black person, as a Black woman, I feel like now, you know, therapy is becoming more, and talking about mental health is becoming more normalized, specifically with my generation and the generation after me, Gen Z. I definitely feel like it's more normalized, but like, just generally in the, you know, within the Black diaspora, not even just, you know, Black American people, but just, I feel like within the Black diaspora, it is, you know, very common for, especially if you grew up like religious, you know, it's very common for people to dismiss mental health and be like, oh, you just pray about it. It's very dismissive, and you know, I think a lot of Black people have, especially, you know, the older generations, have a lot of shame around like mental health, whether it be something that they've struggled with or somebody in their family. You know, it's very much not talked, you know, as a whole, not talked about, while even though I do feel like it is becoming more normalized, which that makes me happy. But like, I know it can be hard when you don't feel like you have a support system, you know, when therapy is not encouraged. I get it, but it's like, you have to do it for you. And like, I hate to say it, but like, fuck what your family thinks. Like, you gotta take care of you. If they gotta, especially if you are, you know, it's one thing if you're a teenager and you are still, you know, like, have to abide by your parents' rules, that's one thing. But like, if you are a grown adult, you have your own autonomy, and you really have to get to the point where it's just like, nah, I have to take care of me. And if that means going to therapy and getting on some antidepressants, or like whatever, being clinically diagnosed finally, because I was finally clinically diagnosed, then that's just what you got to do, you know. And sometimes if your family is not supportive of you going to therapy or just taking care of your mental health in whatever way you see fit, sometimes you have to love those people from afar. You know, sometimes your family members may not be emotionally safe for you to be around, and there's no shame or embarrassment from distancing yourself from those people, family or not. Because at the end of the day, you got to go home to you. You got to look at you in the mirror. You got to answer to you. At the end of the day, no matter where you go, there you are, you know. And so that's why it's important to live for you, for yourself. Not in like a, you know, narcissistic way, but you know, it's always important to prioritize yourself first. Because if you're not prioritizing you, if you're not pouring into you first before anybody else, then how can you truly, you know, show up in a way and show up as your best self for, you know, people who do actually deserve to have access to you, you know? And so, yeah, there's no shame or embarrassment in seeking help. And one thing about me, like, can't nobody throw some shit in my face, you know, or make me feel embarrassed about something that I did or that I went through, because like, I'm gonna talk about it first before anybody else can. And I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed. So ain't nobody gonna make me feel bad or like I'm crazy because I had to go to the psych ward. Like, it was either that or I'm not alive. So yeah. But I know everybody is not where I am. And so I just want to encourage everyone who watches this video to take care of you for you first. Worry about you first. I have a tattoo here that says, remember to love yourself first. And I haven't been doing that. I've been being a hypocrite. I got it tatted on my body and I ain't even been doing it. And so at almost 30 years old, I'm now like, okay, nah. What does India want? What makes India happy? What brings India joy? And I want that for everybody. I want that for everybody. So, yeah. This is a long ass video. This is a long ass video. But I'm glad I did it, and I hope that anyone who watched this video, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you gained something from it. If I could help just one person, then I feel like I've done a good thing. But I am hungry, so I'm gonna go make me some dinner. Oh, and if you haven't eaten today, then eat. Something nutritious. But yeah, so here's to living for ourselves and finding healthy ways to cope, because life is going to life. Like, it's inevitable. But the question is, you know, what are you going to do, and how are you going to handle it, and make sure that you have the right type of tools to where when life does life, because it will, you don't take yourself out like I wanted to. So yeah, I love you all, and I appreciate you all for being on this journey with me. And here's to hoping for the best, but always being prepared for the rest. Bars. All right, y'all, I'm gonna go because I'm hungry. Maybe I'll see y'all later, maybe I won't. I don't know, we'll see. But until then, goodbye for now.